Have you ever wondered what makes the difference between confidence and overconfidence? Well, let's dive into this fascinating topic together. Picture a cake, a simple, delicious cake. Now, what makes this cake rise and become fluffy? Baking powder, right? But what happens when you add too much baking powder? The cake rises too much, becomes bitter, and ultimately collapses. In the same way, confidence is like the baking powder of success. It helps us rise, face challenges, and believe in our abilities. It's a critical ingredient in the recipe for accomplishment. But just like our cake, when we add too much confidence, the result can be less than palatable. We're talking about overconfidence, a surplus of self-assurance that can lead us to a bitter taste of failure. Overconfidence is not just an excess of confidence, it's a distortion of reality. It's when our belief in our capability outpaces actuality, leading us to underestimate our limitations and overestimate our abilities. Imagine you're a contestant on a game show, absolutely brimming with confidence. You're certain that you'll walk away with the grand prize. But then, the questions start rolling in, and you realize that you don't know the answers. Yet, you keep buzzing in, convinced that you're right, even when you're wrong. That's overconfidence. It's when our belief in our abilities, knowledge, or judgments surpasses the evidence at hand or our level of self-awareness. Overconfidence can be a sneaky visitor in our lives, subtly infiltrating our decision-making processes, causing us to make impulsive choices without considering all the facts. It can creep into our interpersonal relationships, causing us to dismiss others' opinions and feedback. It can even make us think we're doing a fantastic job, when in fact, there's room for improvement. So, overconfidence is when our belief in our capability outpaces reality, when we underestimate our limitations. It's a delicate balancing act, and one we need to be aware of if we want to succeed. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this intriguing topic, exploring the conundrum of confidence and overconfidence. Imagine being a contestant on a game show, brimming with confidence. You're certain that you're the one to beat, that you'll be the one walking away with the grand prize. Your heart is pounding with anticipation as the spotlight shines on you, and the host starts firing off questions. But then, something unexpected happens. Despite your initial certainty, you find yourself stumbling over the answers. The questions are trickier than you anticipated, and your knowledge isn't as comprehensive as you thought. Yet, you keep buzzing in, undeterred, convinced that you're right, even when the reality is far from it. You refuse to step back, to reassess, to acknowledge the gaps in your understanding. Your conviction is unshakable, your belief in your prowess unwavering. You're riding high on the wave of overconfidence, oblivious to the impending crash. And that, my friends, is overconfidence in action. Overconfidence can be like a sneaky chameleon, manifesting itself in various aspects of our lives. Just like a chameleon changes its colors to blend in, overconfidence subtly creeps in and distorts our perception of reality. Let's start with decision-making. Overconfidence can lead us to make hasty choices without considering all the facts. It's like going on a road trip without a map, sure that you'll find your way, only to end up lost and out of fuel. Overconfidence convinces us that our first instinct is always right, and it discourages us from seeking additional information or considering alternative perspectives. Now, let's talk about our interpersonal relationships. Overconfidence can cause us to dismiss others' opinions and feedback. It convinces us that we know better, that our way is the only right way. But remember, every person we meet knows something we don't. And by dismissing their perspectives, we miss out on opportunities to learn and grow. Then there's our work performance. Overconfidence can make us think we're doing a fantastic job when, in fact, there's room for improvement. It convinces us that we've mastered our craft, that there's nothing left for us to learn. But the truth is, there's always room for growth, and by believing otherwise, we stifle our potential and limit our success. But perhaps the most dangerous aspect of overconfidence is that it can lead to complacency. It creates a false sense of security, convincing us that we've reached the pinnacle of success. It tells us that there's no need for further growth or learning. But remember, the world around us is constantly changing, and to keep up, we too must continue to grow and learn. So let's not let overconfidence blind us. Let's not let it trick us into ignoring potential risks or hindering our ability to adapt to new situations. Instead, let's strive to keep our confidence rooted in reality, balanced with a healthy dose of humility and self-awareness. Overconfidence blinds us to potential risks and hinders our ability to adapt to new situations. But worry not, overconfidence is not a life sentence. It may seem like an insurmountable mountain, but it's more akin to a tricky hill that we can learn to navigate. The first step is understanding and recognizing overconfidence in ourselves. It's like spotting a chameleon in a tree. Once you know what to look for, you'll see it more clearly. The signs of overconfidence can be subtle. Maybe it's that unwavering belief that your project will succeed without considering potential obstacles. Or perhaps it's the dismissal of constructive criticism, viewing it as an attack rather than an opportunity for growth. By being aware of these telltale signs, we can start to chip away at the fortress of overconfidence. But recognition is only the beginning. Once we've identified overconfidence, we need to balance it out. Think of it as a scale, with overconfidence on one side and humility on the other. If the scale tips too far in one direction, we risk either stagnation or failure. But by carefully adding weight to the humility side, we can bring it back into balance. Humility doesn't mean downplaying our abilities or achievements. Instead, it's about acknowledging that there's always room for growth and improvement. It's about embracing the fact that we don't have all the answers, and that's okay. It's about valuing the opinions and insights of others, understanding that we can learn from everyone around us. Next on the scale is self-awareness. This is the ability to objectively evaluate our strengths and weaknesses, to understand where we shine and where we need to polish. It helps us to set realistic goals, to make informed decisions, and to navigate life with a balanced perspective. So, how do we cultivate this self-awareness? It starts with introspection, with taking the time to reflect on our actions, decisions, and beliefs. It involves seeking feedback and being open to it, whether it's praise or critique. And most importantly, it requires honesty with ourselves and others. It's not about eliminating confidence, but about ensuring it's rooted in reality and balanced with humility. Remember, a well-rounded confidence is a stepping stone to success, not a stumbling block. So, let's continue this journey of understanding and strive to achieve that perfect balance. So, let's recap what we've learned about overconfidence. Overconfidence, as we've discovered, is a peculiar beast. It's not the villain of our story, but rather a misguided hero. It's the overzealous friend who promises more than they can deliver, leading us into sticky situations. We've seen how it's when we overestimate our abilities, knowledge, or judgments without the support of adequate evidence or self-awareness. It's like walking on a tightrope with a blindfold, convinced you're on solid ground. We've also seen how overconfidence can be a sneaky chameleon, blending into various aspects of our lives without us even noticing. It can make a surprise appearance in our decision-making processes, encouraging us to make hasty choices without considering all the facts. It can quietly infiltrate our interpersonal relationships, making us dismiss others' opinions and feedback because we're so certain we're right. And it can even slip into our work, convincing us we're doing a stellar job when there's actually room for improvement. But perhaps the most dangerous thing about overconfidence is its ability to lull us into complacency. It can make us believe we've reached the top of the mountain, that there's no need for further growth or learning. This false sense of security can blind us to potential risks and hinder our ability to adapt to new situations. It's like driving a car with a faulty navigation system, convinced you're on the right road when you're actually heading towards a dead end. Yet, despite its pitfalls, overconfidence is not a life sentence. By understanding and recognizing it, we can take steps to keep our confidence in check. It's about striking a balance between confidence and humility, between knowing our worth and being open to growth. It's about ensuring our confidence is rooted in reality, not in illusions of grandeur. Think of it like a garden. Confidence is the seed that can grow into a beautiful tree, but overconfidence is like overwatering that seed. It seems helpful at first, but it eventually drowns the seed, preventing it from growing. We need to nurture our confidence with the right amount of water, self-awareness, and humility to ensure it grows into a sturdy, healthy tree. In the end, Overconfidence is a part of our journey. It's a lesson to be learned, a challenge to be overcome. It's not about eliminating confidence, but about fine-tuning it, about ensuring it's rooted in reality and balanced with humility. Stay tuned as we further explore this intriguing subject in the future. Remember, it's all about a balanced confidence. Remember, the journey to balanced confidence is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a constant process of learning and growing, of adjusting and readjusting. But with time, patience, and practice, we can all strive towards a healthier, more balanced sense of confidence.